Right, update to the ongoing test. So this after a month. You can see the test panel, the control panel, thoroughly corroded. Halford's only just primer, not performed particularly well. The Halford's weld through primer has performed very well. It's a couple of little bits at the top there, but on the whole that's been brilliant. Copper weld through primer not so good. This etched primer here, not brilliant, and this supposed to be epoxy primer, also not brilliant. So far the best is the Halford's weld through primer. And somebody did comment that's likely to be the case because there's zinc content in it. So this is the way to go for looking after your panels. The other option of course is 2-pack primer, and we'll have a look at some of that now. So this is what's been recommended I try, is this HB Body 989 epoxy primer, 2-pack epoxy. So let's have a go at mixing this up and try a new test panel. Alright, let's have a go at mixing this up. So it says it's a 4:1, so I presume it means 4 of that to 1 of that, considering the size differences. Now I only want to mix up a small amount here because I don't want to waste it, as I'm just trying. So my cunning plan is to mark in there 1, 2, 3, 4 with the centimeters from the bottom, and that should give me my amounts, I guess. We'll find out. So will that give me 1 in 3? I wonder. Get a mark in there, get a start. Let's try a Sharpie so I can actually see what I'm doing. So there's my scratch. So there's my mark for 1. I'll mark up to 4, and I'm not sure whether that'll give me a 1 in 4 or 1 in 3, but let's mix it up and see what happens. Then I'll got it off cut for my chassis repair, which is all nice and clean still, so I'll give that a bit of paint and chuck it outside along with the other one, see how that performs. And what I've got left of this, I'm going to clean up and paint up the inside of my chassis. Give that a good stir. It's quite lumpy in the bottom. It's going to need quite a stir, that is. Yeah. That. Okay, let's get something better to stir that with. Stupid screwdriver. Right, let's try this as a stirrer. The old hacksaw blade. Get into the corners with that. People of my age may remember the old advert for paint when the guy got the, I think it's a bear going, the lumps in this are unbearable. That's kind of like that. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Cheap, cheerful pound shop paintbrushes. I don't want to waste good paintbrushes on this stuff. That's quite thick. I was rather hoping that would be thinner than that, so it would be like a bit like a thinners. Maybe I'll have to order some thinners to go along with it, I think. Right, let's see what sort of mess I can make of pouring this into there. Okay, well, the first lesson I've learned is use a bigger tub to mix it up in, or mix up a smaller amount. Let's get the lid back on there. As you can tell, I'm really not used to this sort of paint. But see what happens. Right, let's slap some on here. The first thing is it brush paints quite nicely. I've tried brush painting cellulose and those sort of paints in the past, and they're just a nightmare. Once you've got one brush on, they dry too fast and you can't do much with it. Might even be able to roll at this. Paint's like an enamel paint, so it's quite easy to get a reasonable finish with it. Right, so that's quite a nice thick coating on there. We'll leave that harden off, then we'll chuck it outside. Right, let's use up the rest of this in my chassis rails now. Right, so this has joined the party outside now, so wait to see how that weather's in and see what happens. I've also had a curiosity painted over the rusted part with it, just to see how it does with holding back existing rust. Unless you wouldn't just paint it like that. Normally you do some sort of preparation, but I thought it'd be interesting to see just what happens. And again, we'll come back to it and see what happens. Right, also going to try some of this. The can's a lot smaller than it looked in the picture. And it costs the same as a normal can of paint, so it's not cheap. Pro XL again, 2K epoxy primer. Now this one I think is a genuine 2K because it's got the little thing in the bottom you press. So what I'm going to do with this is paint the underside of my new floor pan with it, and at the same time paint a little bit of steel to chuck outside with the test pieces. Right, let's see what this says about using it. Okay, so remove cap, insert metal ring into lug, pull ring down, shake your can for at least 2 minutes. After the ball is free, blah 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 blah. Okay. Right, so the lid is this little metal ring. This, it would appear, threads through a hole in there somewhere. Hole in there. Give that a tug. And shake vigorously. Okay, 2 minutes of vigorous shaking over. Let's see what happens. Well, it sprays nicely, that's for sure. So we go spraying the floor pan then. I'm not entirely convinced this is going to cover the entire floor pan though. Nozzle's already starting to block up on it. Oh, there you go. Blocked up fully. There we go. I should find another nozzle off for another paint can. Okay, so this little can, only 200 ml admittedly, just about managed to do that floor pan. Just. Yeah, it blocks the nozzle up very quickly. We'll see. Can't say I'm overly impressed with it, but time will tell. Right, so that's that one outside as well now. So let's see how they perform.